Okay. Oh, I forgot to switch the scene collection. Hold on. Let me switch over to webcam. There we go. Okay, better. Welcome back to another coding session from Strange Bro Jim. Um, Coding stream, what have you, portion of the stream. um, and today we're going to be getting back into working on the uh, if you're brand new, I've been thinking about trying to, I wanted to try to do some projects or, work on some side projects and stuff like that. And one of the thought lines that I had was there was something that I felt was missing in Terraria that I didn't see anybody having made a mod for it yet. So I figured, hey, while I'm currently unemployed and I want to continue trying to keep my coding skills or try to keep my coding skills up to snuff. I figured I would go ahead and set up a um, maybe just make the mod myself. Go into Terraria and learn the modding process. Now, two problems. One, I don't know C sharp, so it's going to be a learning experience on the C sharp side of things. So anybody that is very familiar with C sharp, please feel free to help me out with some of the things that I might not fully understand. Okay, and there'll probably be moments like that, or you might look at me and go, "Why the hell are you doing it this way?" I'm not going to say that I know everything that there is to know about coding there, folks. Okay, there's going to be, there's probably going to be gaps. There's probably going to be knowledge I'm not, fully concrete about. So just bear with me. Constructive criticism is always welcome on this channel. Okay, and anything, any criticism that's not constructive, I don't need it. So, um, we're going to work on uh, the basic. We're gonna work on some basic, tModLoader mods. So let's see. There we go. Hmm. Let's go ahead and move my. Oop, that one. Move my camera. Get it out of the way of the text. Okay. So now, we installed the Net 8.0 SDK last time, but it was saying, hey, you should follow this guide to make sure that everything is, working absolutely perfectly, right? So, um, let me see. Um, Huh, that's interesting. I tried to clear the command window and the normal command that I thought should clear it didn't. Hmm. Okay, hold on. There it is. Okay. I was about to say, I'm like, what the heck? Okay, let me bring up the command window as well. Hmm. It's not displaying it right at the moment. Hmm. There it goes. Okay. We're gonna kind of move this down in the corner here so everybody can kind of see, you know, try to make it super small so you guys can all see, you know, what I'm kind of doing here. So, so it basically says, hey, do the, you know, .NET, you know, list STKS. So, oh, ha, it's .NET, not. There we go. So, so there you go. You know, both are, you know, as you can see from the, you know, from this screen here, it's the same as this screen here. So, or not quite the same, you know, because obviously it's, you know, 0.303 versus 2.04, but it just needs the 8. So we're good. So, so technically everything should be fine on that. Will it be though? Who knows? So we're going to go back to this point here. We're going to go ahead and clear out the command window because we don't really need it anymore at this time. Okay. Um, so your first mod. To start, we'll just we will make a very simple mod to get you familiar with how mods are created and for tModLoader. That's perfectly fine. You know, I haven't done any kind of modding for tModder before. Again, same, you know, I'm going to be a little behind in terms of C sharp, you know. Now, for those of you that might wonder, you know, um, I have a couple languages that I've learned over my small software development career, okay? You know, I learned C and C sharp, or not C and C and Java in college. I did a little stint of C++ in community college, but I mean, nothing with C sharp, C++ afterwards. So, and again, nothing with C sharp. You know, I dabbled in other languages as well during that time. A little bit of time with Python and Visual Basic, um, HTML, CSS, and that, but nothing that would, um, I just basically learned the basics, and that's it for most of those. So, Never really got into like full in depth on any of those other languages, too well. Got out in the real world and um, really I haven't had a job that used Java yet, or at least mainly Java, not like a full stack Java or anything along those lines. Which you would think people would be welcome to hire me. I'm putting my resume out for being hired as a Java developer, but nothing picks up. So um, got you know one of my very first jobs was a well, I got one job that kind of used C and C++, but they didn't really um, keep me on for very long. It was like a 4-month contract, and even then, they weren't really putting a lot of coding onto me during that job. So, um, but it was got into a game studio for a very short time before they closed their doors, um, and helped them develop, one the game that they were making for in Disney. And you know, I did see something that I wanted to try to help them fix, and I wrote some code to try to fix it, because um, so basically what was going on was the president at the time wanted to have a fireworks display at the end of each level saying, "Hey, you beat the level, congratulations," kind of thing, right? Fireworks. Unfortunately, because they had like 3 senior developers working and building each level different, the coding styles was different. They kind of built the levels to how they, you know, wanted to build the levels up, right? But because of that, um, the process at the end didn't match up with all the rest of the other levels, right? And there was like, I forget exactly how many levels there were. I think there was like maybe 8 levels total or something like that, maybe more. I don't know. It's been a long time. Um, but um, uh, the president added in some fireworks, and it only would work for like 1 or 2 levels, but the other levels didn't really work. So I tried to put in some code saying, hey, if this particular action does not trigger it now. You know, basically a simple Boolean flag. If the fireworks have not launched, launch the fireworks now. If they have launched, you don't need to worry about it. We're done. That kind of thing. Um, and unfortunately, that was because they were in the late stages of the development. Um, they basically said, you know, we know that you're trying to help us out, but um, we would need to test your code that you're submitting, um, and we would have to test it out on every single level, and we don't have the time for that. We don't have the time to commit to our the QA staff that we have to test out your code. So they they actually released the game without my code, and well, some levels had fireworks, some levels didn't. And I think I saw like one reviewer going, "Why are we seeing like fireworks here, but not in any of the other levels?" Tried to fix, but oh well. It is what it is. I think they eventually fixed it. they saw the problem. Um, I handed my code off to one of the other senior developers because by that point, uh, they were pretty much packing up and closing the doors. So I was like, "On here, just take my code. If you guys ever need to fix it up, you have it." So, um, and I left it at that. Um, then I got to another 1 year contract, learned Cold Fusion. Lasted there for a year. Um, and then I guess another job has been Pega and learned Pega. Got certification for that. So that's pretty much my background in programming there, folks. So just so you're aware, you know, been wanting to do more, but haven't had the opportunity to. So okay, so um, and then of course you can look at my programming playlist and see, or my multiple playlists and see like everything that I've kind of looked at and studied and tried to do prior as well. So, oh yeah. So let's get into this, shall we? To start, we will make a very simple mod to get you familiar with how mods are created for tModLoader. To begin, we will use tModLoader to generate a basic mod skeleton. Open up tModLoader, then open the workshop menu, and then open the develop mods menu and click the create mod button. Okay, um, so first thing that I should do, actually, now I think about it. Oh, no, stop that. Um, let's see. Let me get Visual Studio Code up and running. Also, let me go ahead and bring up tModLoader. Because I'll be needing to reference that. Um, yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay. Move this. Hmm. Let me move it up slightly. We will make it really small and move it over into the corner here so you guys can all kind of see what all I'm doing. Alright, so I'm gonna move the instructions over here so that I can kind of look at it a little bit more. And keep chat open. Okay, so we're going to go to the workshop. We're going to go to develop mods, and we're going to create a mod. Now fill out the input boxes. I suggest tutorial mod, newbie modder, and tutorial sword respectively. Finally click create. The message comes up, fix the issue, otherwise you'll be taken back to the mod sources menu. Okay, so basically they're saying, hey, do this tutorial mod, newbie modder, and tutorial sword. Although they're saying basic sword, no spaces, but whatever. I'll follow the instructions. Finally click create. If a message comes up, fix the issue. Otherwise, you'll be taken back to the mod sources menu. So create that. All right. So if you're making a mod you intend to publish on the workshop, it needs to have a unique mod name instead of tutorial mod. It needs to be a name not taken by any other mod in the workshop, otherwise you will not be able to publish it. See renaming a mod if you need to rename an existing mod. Okay. But you know, this is just basically a tutorial for the time being, so yeah. Okay. So click the Open Sources button on the Develop Mods menu to open the Mod Sources folder. You can also open the Mod Sources folder in your file browser by navigating to Documents, My Games, Terraria, tModLoader, and Mod Sources. Well, the thing is that it already created the Mod Sources folder and opened it up for me automatically. So as you know, I could open the sources, but it's already done. So we don't necessarily need to worry about that. Um, so so that's handy that it automatically opens up the first off, it opens up a number of files and folders most likely associated with creating mods for Terraria. So so this is interesting. The fact that it automatically generates all this, which is great. Love that. Now some of it might be a little like redundant or might not necessarily be, helpful for what we're needing to do, but for the time being, we'll just kind of leave it at that for the most part, right? So, okay. So, how are we doing? Are we looking okay? Yeah, we're looking okay. All right. So, um, let's see. It should be, it should be a folder called tutorial mod, which it is. This folder contains all the code relating to this mod. Currently, there should be 9 basic files added by the mod skeleton generator. Here's an explanation of each of these files. Okay, so so I'm looking at the it's slightly different than what I'm seeing right at this moment in time. Items got changed to content. Localization is the same. Properties is the same. I don't have any of the ending properties or the it's not showing the file types. Let's see. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. There's typically a way for you to change okay, maybe file name extensions. There we go. Okay. For a second, for it used to be like under properties, but they moved it to the menu. That's fine. Okay, so we have the mod name with the .cs. So yes, the tutorial mod.cs, this is the mod class. It is the central file to any mod. One and only one mod class can exist in every mod. For simple mods, this file will be very sparse. But in this class, various global things can happen. Okay. So I would imagine that if you have something that needs to like reference like various other, like if you want to like separate out your code to make it potentially reusable later, for like some other part of the mod, or you want to reuse it for like another mod later down the line, then you might be able to create other source files that you can reference on your mod class, but you don't necessarily need to, like, the mod class will be the one that will be the main driving force. So you shouldn't necessarily need to have all your code in one file, because that's just, um, especially if you're talking about something that could be a very large project or very large mod, right? Like, for example, Calamity. I would expect that the Calamity mod wouldn't be one CS source file. That would be insane to me if it was. I would hope that you have the source file to kind of handle um, like the basic setup of it all, but it references other files along the way. And it, potentially could be referencing other mods as well. So yeah, because it combines multiple other mods into the Calamity mod, right? So most likely, you know, um, you'll see the Calamity mod referencing like the storage unit mod, for example. So maybe it has a way to reference all the other additional mods that it needs to in the in its base code, maybe. We'll find out. Okay, description.text. This contains text for the description of the mod. Okay. Click the More Info button in the mod menu to view in-game. You can create a separate description workshop.txt file with additional BB code formatting that will show on Steam Workshop website if you would like. Okay, so um, um, so I could um, copy the file, um, paste it, and then change this copy to underscore workshop, and that will be for the um, Steam Workshop. Okay. Again, this wouldn't necessarily be something that will be put on the workshop, as it's just a tutorial mod. That would be kind of silly for me to post this mod up on the workshop, you know, because again, if I'm following this, then I mean, I'm going to be doing this alongside all, all the other previous modders in the past, and well, yeah. Okay. Build.text contains the version, author, display name of your mod. It can contain other values necessary. Okay. icon.png. A 40, it's the 80 by 80 icon that will show in game. You can create a more detailed or higher resolution icon workshop PNG version of your icon for the Steam Workshop website. That file can be up to 512 by 512. Okay. That would be interesting. I'd be kind of hard pressed, I would imagine, to try to generate that file. Like, I'm not necessarily an artist, so I'm probably going to have a hard time trying to generate an icon for that, but we'll see. Mod name.cs proj or CS project. The project file for Visual Studio setup for debugging your mod. Debugging is extremely useful, but takes a bit of learning. Don't delete it. Yeah, that's for sure. So, yeah, we don't, we don't want to delete this file down here at all. So, properties, launch settings.json. So, okay, so it's the folder here, which there's only one file of launch settings, and that's it, which is the JSON file. Related to, your mod name.csproj contains the path to the tLoader files for debugging. Don't remove, you'll want it later as you gain experience. Okay. I mean, it's a JSON file, so it makes sense. Okay. Next. They have items here, but their page is, talking about content. So, okay, so apparently they put the items inside content. Why? I don't really know. Maybe this is, maybe they're expecting you to have additional content besides items. Hard to say. All right, so so here you have the item name, which matches up with the name that I gave here for the tutorial sword. A simple sword item. Use this as an example as you learn to make additional mod item classes. And the corresponding sprite, the PNG of said item. So, not sure how they kind of came about the tutorial sword or how it automatically gave me the PNG for the tutorial sword. It could have just been put into the tModLoader or itself. So probably is a common name for me to pull from. Hard to say. So, all right. Next is the localization, where they have the en-us underscore mods dot mod name dot hjson contains the English text for content in your mod, and it currently contains the display name and tooltip for the generated sword. This file will automatically update with entries for new content you add to the mod. See localization wiki page to learn more about localization and how to support other languages. So, for example, if I wanted to do something, if I did a mod and like I asked a couple of my friends to maybe translate some of it into, say, Spanish. Let's see, what are some of the other languages that I have on my Discord that I could ask? Portuguese, Dutch. And other various languages, German, French, you know, um, and if I could get those translated, then I most likely that would be kind of falling into the localization page as it was. So yeah. Okay. So now we now have a ready-made mod ready to be built. Start up tModLoader and open the workshop menu. Then open the develop mods menu. You should see an entry with the mod you just created. Now click the build and reload button. If you didn't get any errors, your mod will show up in the mods menu. So, um, so if I'm not mistaken, we should already be kind of seeing that anyway on the Calamity. You know, we're already right there. I mean, I could go back, you know, like we can go back here, that, to the workshop menu, or I can just, go workshop, and then open the develop mods button again, and, there's the tutorial mod once again. So they're just saying, hey, do the build and reload button. If you don't get any errors, your mod will show up in the mods menu. So, um, all right, and then should show up in the mods window. So, um, there it is. Tutorial mod, new me modder, um, more info. Modify this file with a description of your mod. You don't say. Um, okay. Now, um, okay. Let me first. It's saying now go in game, make a workbench, and mine 10 dirt blocks, and you should see that you can craft a new sword. Well, first off, let's go ahead and disable everything except for the tutorial mod. Just to make sure that we don't have any like compatibility issues or anything along those lines, right? So, so um, we're just going to create a, tester. Um, Tester mod character name. And then we're just gonna randomize. That looks fine. We'll go ahead and move this to cloud just to make sure that we're good on that. Although actually, let's see. Um, Actually, hold on. No. I want this to be like on Journey. Um, because I don't, I want to, well, mm, no, you know what? I'll keep it on Classic. So it doesn't necessarily say like, what type of character you create or anything along those lines. So, um, whatever. Move to cloud and play. And we're gonna create a brand new world. Um, we're gonna do the tester mod world. make it very large. Classic, random is fine, and create. Let's see, it's still showing everything for you guys. Yeah. Okay, we'll move that to the cloud. Play that, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I need to build myself a workbench. There we go. And then there's the tutorial sword. Ta-da! Ah. Alright, done. Confirmed. Well, amazing! But 50 damage isn't enough. We will now do our first actual programming. Open up the mod sources, mod name, content, items, tutorial sword.cs file in Notepad++. Well, why would I open it up in Notepad++? I can do that with the Visual Studio, right? So, um, so let me open the folder for the for the file here through CS and make sure that we are um, working on these mods properly using the right kind of um, right kind of folders and stuff like that. Do you trust the authors of the files in this folder? Code provided features that may automatically execute files in this folder. If you don't trust the authors of these files, we recommend to continue in restricted mode as the files may be malicious. See our docs to learn more. We should be able to trust the authors. Yeah, well, maybe not trust all the authors and all the files, but I trust the authors. So, all right. So now let's see. Can you see the visuals code? No, you cannot. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and disable tModLoader for right now. Let's go ahead and get our visual code high up in here, and we'll just go ahead and move this one again down into our corner. Apologies to anybody that's like, oh my gosh, I can barely see that there, Jim. But I kind of want to show. Well, to be honest, I mean, you guys can find the guide. So technically, I kind of want to keep the coding and stuff like that full screen. Anybody that needs the guide, you can go and find the guide online, and you can kind of follow me along right then and there. So, um, all right. So first off, let's go ahead and close that off. Don't really need that anymore. All right. So next, um, so we're going to open up the tutorial sword.cs. So, which is inside the content and items. So we look at contents, we look at items, and we see the tutorial sword.cs. And here's all of our code for the tutorial sword. Now this this one came up automatically for us. Okay, the fact that it was like, hey, um, basic sword, add in the basic sword, and so this code was already generated, you know, prior to us. Um, so there's that. Okay, so find the line with the item damage is equal to 50, which there it is. And change 50 to 100. Oh my gosh, that is insane. Okay, now save the file. Remember not to mess up the syntax that you learned in the basic prerequisites lesson. I mean, yeah, we're good there. Um, so we'll go ahead and save. Next, open up the mod sources, mod name, localization, .json file, also a Notepad++. I mean, again, why would I do that when I already have the Visual Studio code? It's already available to me already. So this is where the English text shown to the user, such as the item name and tooltip, are set. Change display name tutorial sword to display name my tutorial sword. Okay. Why it's for having my tutorial sword in there, don't really know, but whatever. Then change the tooltip entry to tooltip my first sword. Okay. Really? That's it? Just my first sword? Okay. And save the file. Let's see. Note that the tooltip entry in the default mod uses multi-line entry. Read more about multi-line and syntax here. That is why it looks so much different from the display name entry. The whole entry, including the dot dot dot, or apostrophe, at the start and end will need to be replaced with my first sword since we only want one line. Next, go in game. Once again, build and reload the mod and acquire the sword again. Okay, so we go in game, we go to workshop, we go to develop mods, we go build and reload because we changed our files. Next, we'll go back to our tester mod world. And I mean, I already have the sword here. Unfortunately, it has the modifier on there. So let me go ahead and create another sword. There you go. And there's my tutorial sword, 100 melee damage. My first sword. And built. Once again, we have a modifier on it, and we now have the massive my tutorial sword. But it has the 100 associated with it. So there you go. All right. You should see the new damage, the new item name, and the new tooltip. Lastly, the mod you built is packaged into a tMod file called mod name, found in tModLoader /mods. If you want your friends to play your mod but don't want to publish it yet, you can send them this file and have them place it in the same folder. Okay, so just to I'm gonna kind of see this firsthand here. So tModLoader mods, and we have the tutorial.tmod in there. Okay. But this is obviously a you know a local file. I'm not seeing any of the um, I'm not seeing any of the Calamity mods or anything like that in the mods folder right at this moment in time. So that's a bit interesting. Um, um, or you can publish it to the workshop and set it as friends only to keep it somewhat private. This approach will allow the mod to update automatically for your friends when you publish updates. Okay. Experiment a little. Ooh, okay. You can now experiment a little more by changing some of the other item values. Remember, you have to save your changes and then run, build, and reload to see your changes in game. Okay. Um, so I mean, let's look at it a little bit more. Okay, so right now the tutorial sword has the display name and tooltip. That's fine. We're not really worried about that too much. I don't know what other values we can put there at this time. Um, like there might be more, maybe, but then again, maybe not, because a lot of it is kind of already like pre-generated, just from the tutorial sword, right? Um, so I could say like, hey, I want the damage to be 9,999, right? We have the melee. I don't know what you know, the width, the height, you know, um, time span for using the item and ticks. This is independent of the time it takes for the item animation to finish. Weapons usually have equal use animation and use time unequal values for these to result in multiple attacks per click. Mm-hmm. So, um, so I could change these to 100. Um, we could also maybe increase the width and height by a lot. Let's see, knockback. Max value is 20. Okay, let's try that out. Although at 9,999 damage, we're probably not going to be seeing any kind of knockback. We're probably going to be instantaneously killing the slimes that we give. So, buy price, silver. Hmm. Um, Now okay. So it automatically gives me values that I can actually put in here. So I could change this to copper and make it really cheap, like super cheap. um, let's see. Um, okay. Not quite sure what values we can put on here. Mm-hmm. Okay. Use sound is fine. We'll worry about the, sounds guide and stuff like that a little bit later. Auto reuse, that's fine. Um, create recipe. Okay. creates a recipe resulting this mod item, the amount that takes the resulting stack. This method only creates the recipe. It does not register it into the game. Call this at the very beginning when creating a new recipe. Okay. So we add the ingredients, which, we can have multiple different, item types and the amount. So, okay. Is this saying the... No, this is the amount of the ingredient. Um, hmm. My stack size. Interesting. Okay. Add tile as the required crafting station with the given tile type to this recipe. So for workbenches, there you go. And then we register, adds this recipe to the game. Call this after you finish setting the resulting ingredients, etc. So basically the um, um, now I don't know if the register will work with the um, I don't know if the register will work with the um, with the guide. I would imagine so, because we've seen the guide kind of explain, what, we've seen the guide kind of explain like, hey, this is how you build other various different mods that we've seen in the past, how to build, various other weapons. So I would imagine the register, allows the guide to kind of see it, potentially. So, but we're not really seeing anything more here concerning that either. So it'd be kind of interesting to see what they did for the calamity, but we'll worry about that a little bit later. We're getting near the end here, there, folks, of the of this. But I want to see, like, did I actually, make the proper changes and stuff like that? Did I actually, modify this properly? So let's go ahead and go back into the game, go back to workshop, develop mods. We need to rebuild and reload. Let's go back into here. And once again, our sword is a lot of damage. So we're just going to be... Oh my god. Okay. The animation is super slow. Gotcha. So okay, 10,799. Okay, interesting. Snail speed is is the overall speed of that. Interesting. So if I want a higher speed, I'm going to need to have a lower number. Good to know. Good to know. Um, okay. Just for the hell of it, let me quickly like build a quick building, just to kind of have, I want to have the guide um, you know, in the building here without any kind of, um, like distraction or anything along those lines. Um, so let me get this set up real quick. Um, and Because the other thing that I want to kind of do is be able to talk with the guide in piece for the most part. Okay. All right, so now we now have something for the guide to kind of live in. I'm gonna wait for nighttime so that you know, we can get the okay, well, come on, guide, go back into the oh, here. Let me do crafting dirt block. And there it is. My tutorial sword. So, okay. Now that pretty much answers my question about that. Go back to save and exit. Now I want to, the use time and animation was extremely slow. Default value is 100? Sure about that. So if I do like 1 and 1 here and save that, and let's do like 1 damage because I want to see this knockback in action here, right? And we'll save that again. We'll come back here. We'll go back to our workshop, develop mods, rebuild, or reload, and then we'll go back into our game. And now our swords are now at 1 melee damage, insanely fast speed, insane knockback. So I want to kind of see this in action here. Okay. I can't even see the animation. It's going so fast. This is funny. Whee! Okay. But needless to say, the animation doesn't necessarily match with the with what I need, right? So let's go ahead and kind of change that around here. Now, according to the, oh, actually, wait, you guys couldn't see that, could you? No, I don't think you could. Hold on, let me show that again. So yeah, let's put this back to the, 9,999. We'll, put this back up to 100 because you guys couldn't necessarily see what was going on there, right? So, um, so let me bring back up the tModLoader. Workshop, develop mods, rebuild and reload. Go back into the game, and then I was kind of showing the fact that I was going super slow with the sword here, I need a slime. Where's the slime? Give me a slime. Come on now. Where's the darn slime? I want to show the damage, damn it. There's one. About the goddamn time. Alright. That's it. 10,599. Alright, so there's there's a whole lot of damage, and I was already kind of showing the fact that, I was already um same amount of damage for my tutorial sword that you can get for, 10 dirt, totally insane. And the fact that, if you talk with the guide, he'll show you that, hey, here's the sword, here's the fact that you need 10 dirt blocks, and you need to use a workbench in order to create it. So, unfortunately, it doesn't show you, like, like how much it costs. We don't have a merchant yet, um, so not much we can really do about that. So, all right, but then, I went back to the code here. I changed this to, the damage of 1, changed the use time and the animation to 1, and had the knockback be 20, right? I wanted to kind of see the knockback in action. So I saved that, did the workshop, develop mods, reload, and we go back into our mod world, and this is the animation right at this moment in time. There's no animation. But I wanted to kind of try to show, well, I mean, first off, you're noticing the fact that I'm already kind of cutting through everything. Ah, damn it. That's not really working very well. The animation isn't going all the way down. I need something that, is kind of jumping at me a little bit. This would work. So you can kind of see the fact that, I'm hitting it for 1 point of damage, and it has an insane knockback. So, um, but needless to say, that's the 1 damage isn't necessarily going to be enough to kill off our vulture friend here. So, whee! Now let's see if there's a slime along the way, or are we going to be seeing zombies as we go through here. Oh, there's a slime. There's that insane knockback. Notice how it doesn't reach all the way down to the ground, which is interesting. Oh, I got 2 damage there. Can't really juggle these very well. All right. Again, this guy has a home, so he should be walking back here. But all right. So the next thing that I kind of wanted to do was, I wanted to see, like, hey, I wanted to actually see the animation in, working properly. Now, they do say blocks use 10. Not quite sure. like if that's the, um, you know, hey, if you want to place a block, you have to use 10 in order to get it to work properly. Otherwise, it's just going to be a little too much. But um, so yeah, let me go ahead and rebuild this because we still got time. I'm not really going to be kind of stressing about this, so there it is. Interesting that the insane speed um, is you know, couldn't actually hit the um, couldn't hit like directly in front, which is interesting. Because zombies are slightly resistant to knockback, because obviously those slimes went flying, but the zombies not so much. Interesting. Okay, good to know. Okay, so that's gonna be it for today's um, Terraria session. Obviously I didn't really do much, but I kind of got to see what, you know, obviously they have the defaults, the um, let me kind of hide the tModLoader modloader. Matter of fact, I need to kind of shut that down anyway. We're gonna need to switch on over to my other profile for Warframe. So let me go ahead and start setting that up. But so you know, the um, the fact that we have like the defaults here for the item, and it kind of gives you the basic item template as they mentioned here. You know, um, the name of the sword in question, what it is basically overriding. Um, it gives you the a you know um, a function, a method, to set the defaults for said weapon, and allows for you to basically say whether or not you can actually find it, or you can actually build it as a recipe. You don't necessarily need the recipe there. It could be something that just can only be found by like a boss drop or something like that. So you don't necessarily need it as a quote unquote recipe. So this is interesting. I wonder what else you can actually put into the mod item list here, or what available things you can do with it. But for now, that's just about as much as we can do for today's this portion of the tModLoader Terraria coding session for now. Um, we'll continue with where we left off tomorrow. Well, actually, tomorrow again, probably not going to be able to stream. Um, Frank called up and said, "Hey, Want to go watch, the Wolverine movie or the Deadpool movie? And I'm like, sure, sounds good. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. So um, we'll see how good it is. But um, but yeah, that's going to be it for today's tutorial session. I'm going to switch on over to um, Warframe. So didn't have any chatters, but that's okay. Anybody lurking right at this moment in time, feel free to, I want to thank you for being there anyway. Um, Anybody that wants to, if you're watching this later, um, a like and subscribe would be fantastic. Check out my other playlists, other content, other VODs. Come by and check out my stream if you have the time. And check out the description for multiple links that are down there. So, but that's going to be it for that. So, thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I catch you next time. Until then, take care. Have a good night. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll catch you strangers next time. And stop the video.